Hi there.
Hi, welcome to Carrie's Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
We're going to go over what we did on the weekend sales, and we're going to talk about our images, photographs, all of the different things that we do for our products. We are going to keep the video down to about 15 minutes. Keep in mind, we are not photographers. We have not studied photography. We can just talk about what we do and the challenges that we face with the different types of equipment that we use,
Right.
and what we kind of do to get around that. So over the weekend, it was kind of a wonky a little bit.
It was
Inconsistent.
Yeah, like we have the typical trend that the week does. Like typically we have like a really good day and then it just trends down, and then that happens on repeat basically every week.
It's basically 5 to 7 day cycle that will have a peak day, and then every day is a descending bar. It drops $20 to $40 every day until we hit the low around 200, and then we'll have a spike, and then it'll drop again. And that's been repeating now for us for probably 6 to 8 weeks. Just that same trend. Our biggest day of the week typically being a Thursday, and then descending throughout the week. So this week our peak was on Wednesday. It looks to me like we possibly may have had a down server. Saturday afternoon, probably around 2 o'clock, our sales completely stopped, no offers. And we really didn't have any activity in the store until Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it was about 24 hours straight without any activity, any sales. We finished Saturday at 163, Sunday at 259. And here we are at 10:30 on Monday morning, and we're already at $94.
Right.
So things are
lovely.
working again. We're happy to see that. I did want to dig into our annual sales. Like I said, we're hoping, pushing to get $100,000 a year. We're currently at $80,279 in sales. Our net sales, so we've managed to keep some of our costs down with regard to shipping and eBay fees. So our net is up 42.5%.
Which is super exciting for us to it looks like it's quite possible that we'll be able to hit our goal this year. So we're just crossing our fingers and doing what we can to keep going.
October sales are up over last month. We're up 14% over the same period last month. However, we are down 5.8% year over year with regard to the October this year compared to 2022. So that is a bit concerning to see that, here we are going into Q4.
And
our sales are coming up, but we're not meeting what we did last year. And so that is a bit concerning. It could be, to some of the maintenance and changes that have happened on the platform.
It could just be the market.
It could be the economy. So with that covered, we had some questions about photo requirements, photos, how we shoot photos, what we use.
So we're going to go over all of that.
Some different things that we mentioned.
We are not photographers. And I think I've mentioned in one of my other videos, like if you are better at photography than me, please, it is totally okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings by giving me some tips and tricks too. We do shoot a lot of different types of items. So we'll go over some of the tools that we use and for which items we use them for.
Okay. So first of all, we have evolved with this. When I first started selling on eBay, frankly, I would take the item 10, 15 years ago, throw it on the floor of some carpeting, and just take some good shots of it with regular indoor lighting. And at that point in time, that was kind of acceptable 15 years ago, because really the different lighting options and stuff like that wasn't really available to the consumer. Now there's a lot more options. So one of the things that we did this past year is we went and we bought a light box.
We did.
And it's like 24 by 24.
Yeah, you can actually see the light box is right there behind us. And that's where I take my photos. is, I shoot it right there. And then we actually it's kind of cool. This is a new setup for us. It used to be on our kitchen table for like the last year. So it's lovely that it is no longer on our kitchen table, and it's part of the office, and we can close the door at the end of the day, and work is work and home is home.
Yes. Dividing the workspace from the business space, not only does it make our lives better, but it's actually something that the IRS actually wants to see. If they were to come to our business, they want to make sure like, oh, well, clearly that's not business because you're utilizing it on your kitchen table type thing. I mean, obviously a light box, they're probably not going to say that, but you do want to keep business property, business equipment separate from your personal stuff.
So it's on this cabinet, and this cabinet's not being used right now for filing. So I've got my unlisted, some of my unlisted inventory in there, and then I can just pull it and shoot it, and it's nice out of the way, and it works for me. So we do have that light box. It was about $100 on Amazon. Do I think it's the best thing out there? Probably not. Does it get the job done? For the most part. For my jewelry specifically, and I don't know if it's the black background that I have on the bust that I use for my necklaces, it totally washes out the color when I have it on it's like got a gray background, but then the bust that I have is like black velvet, and I don't know what it is, but it washes out the color when I try to take that particular shot of any necklace in that way. I use this Canon, PowerShot A2300. We already owned it, so we were using the phone for a while, but the phone wasn't able to give me the close-ups that I needed. So we did a lot of research on some different cameras, and I couldn't find anything that really worked for me. So he had read something about, somebody had said to use like a PowerShot or just,
like a Canon ELPH, but this is what we had. The closest thing we could come to an ELPH. So.
Right. So it works for us, like, I would say 85% of the time. The problem with this is that it will focus wherever it wants to focus, not where I want it to focus.
Right.
So that's definitely
it is a 10-year-old camera.
It is.
So let's be
Yes.
very clear. Like a newer camera is probably going to give you a much better, ability to adapt to what you're trying to shoot. This one, 10 years old, not good at that. Although it is relatively high megapixel camera, it just doesn't have the software capacity that others do. Speaking of like her shots where she's trying to shoot on black and it gets washed out, we found that not just with the camera, but with also like our phones. So we actually prefer to shoot on a gray backdrop. We have tried using white. White is really what the search engines want to see. But unfortunately, what we find with white, you get a very yellow back. So unless you're using some software to come in afterwards and correct all that, or wash or wipe it and just give you the wiped out back, it really does make everything look a little bit more yellow than what it should be. So we find that gray gives you the right color contrast and also allows the colors,
more truer colors,
the true colors of the product to come out. So that would be, cover the camera.
Right.
And then recently you had gone and picked up the microscope.
I did. So we have also, because like I said, one of my biggest issues was the fact that I couldn't get those real close-ups of the jewelry, the 10 karat and things like that. So he told me actually to look online and get a USB microscope. So that's what this is. And it's great because you can just kind of adjust it. And I bought it off Amazon. When I bought it, it was $35. I just went and looked it up and it's $40 now. So again, you have to weigh your pros and cons. Is this something that's going to be beneficial for your business? For us, it has totally saved me time and time again. It is so easy to just turn on this camera. It's got a light that's already built into it. It's got the base, so it's got the stand as well. And then you can adjust the resolution to make it clear for you. We use this, like I said, on the jewelry so that I can get all of those maker's marks. But then also we've used it on photographs to be able to really get in on, the billboard that was on the building, to give us some dates and more context so that we can tell more about the picture. We've also used it on his RPPCs, his postcards, for street names, names of businesses, and license plates on some of the cars. So again, we've got years, or we've got some of those characteristics that we can identify the photograph.
When you're selling ephemera, specifically old photographs, if you can identify the city, the state, the people, the the time period, an address on a building, that can add significant value, because now you're taking a random street shot and you're connecting it to a specific place and time.
Lots of people will look for their town, just to have something from their town. We've sold some items to like a country store that wanted to have some period items from their town. So it's nice to be able to have that information. So yeah, the microscope has done. It's definitely made its worth.
So the next thing we do is, because about half of our business is in ephemera and paper, so scanning, ability to scan items at high speed and high quality is definitely important to us. So we have a duplexing scanner. It's an Epson.
Yep.
Yeah, Epson model. I don't know what the model number is. It's like a DS 5500, I think. But so that's something that we picked up about a year and a half ago. The one thing that we found is that the actual roller duplexing mechanism inside of it tends to get broken on these.
That's an Epson DS 560.
560. Okay, so I was off by a generation. What we were actually able to do is we found some replacement parts online. So we had purchased it and it was broken. We ended up doing the repair. We got it for right around $100. The parts were less than $10. We utilize this for postcards. We utilize it for all of our bill heads,
print ads,
all of our different ephemera. You can adjust the margins on it. You can choose whether you want to scan fronts only. You can scan front and back. So it has a lot of capacity for us. It's very fast. We can scan, a stack of 50 postcards in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it gives very clear, crisp images. And we actually have, so they have like a color correct on there. We have that turned off because we want to know exactly what it looks like. And we also want to show the borders on that. So we have the margins expanded on our photos so that you can see the entirety of the document all the way to the edge. So that works well for us on that. And then we do sell some larger format items, or some like books and magazines, stuff that's still flat, but you may not be able to stuff it through a scanner. So for that, we use the Windows Lens app on Android. And that's a great app for us. We're able to actually, lay out the item, take the shot. It will automatically adjust to the margins, and it will adjust for angle so that it'll show as a document rather than as flat work where you may have come at it a slightly different angle. So
yeah, it really makes, that app has made such a huge difference on those bigger items, and those bigger items, because they don't fit in the photo box. So those bigger items, he'll take those outside in the mid morning when the sun is just right, and we have a table set up outside, and he'll put our
it's a covered environment, so we don't have to worry about the weather. We don't have to worry. The only thing we need is just some quality lighting. We find that the photo box is too bright, our ring light is too dim, but the cameras are automatically preset to a natural environment, so they work very well outside with natural light.
Yeah, so we take the background from the photo box, that gray background, and we'll put that on the table outside, and then he'll take his shots there.
So on the one video we had talked about like Amazon's requirements, and basically you can take the same concept, apply that to any platform, and it will help you understand what it is that Google and all of the other platforms are looking for with regard to photographs. Now you can find a comprehensive list online. All you got to do is search Amazon photo requirements, but I've pulled up a list here. They want to make sure that your product is accurately represented. Okay, so on something like that,
don't use stock photos.
Take the item that you have, put it out there, put it on a clean, empty backdrop. Shoot it from all angles. If there's a defect, we use a small pointer, and we'll actually point out the defects, and then we'll make sure that we list them in our condition tab. The image must match the product title. So again, we don't want to put up a product with a deceiving title. We always want to make sure that we're representing it accurately. Products must fill 85% of the image. This is something that, people have asked me about multiple times, and, want to call me out because I'm making things up. This is not something I'm making up. Amazon specifically requires 85% of the image space to be utilized by the product. Okay, so you're not going to have this small item, with a massive amount of blank background. You're going to want to move it towards the camera. You're going to want to crop it, edit it so that it is taking up the full frame.
And they do, eBay does want a 1-to-1 ratio as well.
eBay will allow you to have a ratio that is not 1-to-1, but we had talked about this earlier in that Amazon does want to see a 1-to-1 ratio on their photos, as does other platforms. So if you're going to cross-post off from eBay to Mercari, Etsy, any of these other, you're better off to start with a 1-to-1 ratio, and then you're not going to have to crop your photos. Google is going to represent your item off from eBay in 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're using a 3-to-4, part of your image is going to get cut off, and it could be the most important part.
Right. You don't get to choose which part gets cut off. The phones are super easy. The phone has a 1-to-1 button. In the settings, obviously, you're going to know your phone best. But again, my camera is old school. It does not have a 1-to-1 ratio that I can use. So then I have to go in and I have to crop that manually.
So they want you to use a JPEG or a GIF file. Again, that's pretty common sense. That's what your camera is automatically going to take the image in. It says here, must not be blurry, pixelated, or have jagged edges. That can be tough. If you're shaking hands or something, you may want to get a tripod or some type of thing to help. I know that we shoot hundreds of photos a day, and we try to do it very quickly. And sometimes they are blurry. We have to, delete that photo. We actually were just doing a comp the other day, and somebody's photo was so blurry you could barely make out what it actually was. And I mean, the item, I think it actually sold, which it just baffles me. But make sure it's not blurry, and make sure it's not pixelated. It says here, items must not contain nudity or sexually suggestive. eBay is very strict on this. Amazon as well. This is to protect people.
On Playboy covers, she was wearing a white shirt, and so you do have to sometimes go in and edit that, and put a bar over things.
If you're selling underwear, leotards, swimwear, here it specifically states you need to do those on a model. We don't sell clothing. It's not something we do. They don't want a human model. They want
mannequin.
a mannequin. Okay. Let's see what else.
And
no corporate trademarks. So if it's a branded product, if you're selling a pair of Nikes, you can certainly have the Nike box there in the image. You can have the shoes in the image. Don't put something else in the background. Don't put, an Amazon logo on your backdrop. Don't put an eBay logo on your backdrop. You do not have permission to use those. So for your own protection, keep out anything that's not pertinent to that product.
Mm-hmm.
I also wouldn't put my brand name on the photo. So that's certainly something that you would want to consider as well.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. I think that's it for Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
That's the majority of the stuff. So what else do you have, dear?
Sorry. I think that's about it. We've talked about the scanner app. We talked about the scanner, the camera, the
Video.
microscope. Yes, video. So we had mentioned this the other day. We had a music box that sold, and we had gone back into the listing, and we had taken video of the music. Anytime you have an item that has movement, sound, anything like that, just add a quick little video to your photographs, and it will definitely help. We had a heartbeat, one of those womb bears where you can record a heartbeat or noise. So that was something that we were able to do a video of. The music boxes, we just had a Christmas music thing that we did a video of.
Right. Wind up toys,
Mm-hmm.
any animatronic items, music players. I mean, there's so many different things that we buy that you could theoretically show music,
Or movement. Mm-hmm.
So those are great options, and
Blinking lights.
It's great that eBay has that now as a feature. That's been available
Mm-hmm.
for probably 2 years now, but don't be afraid to use that if it's something that you've got. So
yeah,
again,
set your item apart. It really does, and then people have more confidence that your item is working as well because you're showing that it works.
Right. So the other thing is that a lot of us are in secondhand goods.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a person this morning, they were asking about a sculpture. We had listed it. We had told them that it was a pre-owned piece, and we had taken multiple photos, including the box, but we didn't show the internal packaging. We didn't show that the foam packaging that the item actually comes originally in was with it. And
Mm-hmm.
so they had actually sent us a message. They said, hey, is it actually there? Is it this 100% complete, or is it missing the foam?
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to, in the messaging system, take a photo, send them the picture of the foam packaging as well. That was a miss on me. We might have sold the item sooner had I shown that. So,
Mm-hmm.
You definitely want to show all aspects of the product. So again, neither one of us are photographers. We're just trying to figure this out just like everybody else. If you have any tips or tricks, throw them down in the comment section.
Yeah, so that everybody can benefit from it. If you've got a camera that you are like, oh my goodness, this thing is great, throw that down there. If we've missed something that you're like, oh, this is something that I use, let us all know.
Or
Share with
if
the
you
class.
have more questions about
try to answer.
what we're doing, we'll give you our best to answer our explanation. So Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so very much. We really appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe, comment below, and good luck to you guys out there. Thank you.
Have a great day.